and understand our Constitution and what our founding fathers meant. We need a federal government that knows its limits, and we need to make sure that our elected officials will know that they need to rein in government so that freedom can grow. And to create jobs to Washington, well, they can help. If Washington really thinks it needs something to do to help in the job creation market, then they can help jumpstart some of the energy projects that we are still waiting to see happen. And I don't mean some of the sort of green jobs bluster that's out there that you've been hearing out of this White House. I said it during the campaign and I'll say it now, we do need an all-of-the-above approach to an energy policy, one that includes responsible production of our domestic resources. And I say this in a time where I know that our collective heart goes out to the people along the Gulf Coast. As an Alaskan, having worked and lived through that horrible tragedy of the Exxon oil spill, then having to hold these oil companies accountable for some lax maintenance. We don't know what caused this latest explosion, but even though in this tragic time of that oil spill too, still domestic production, safe domestic production of our resources makes more sense than relying on foreign countries to produce for us. Foreign countries that don't necessarily like America. And foreign countries that can cut off supplies of energy, using energy as a weapon, as we're spending billions and billions of dollars asking these foreign regimes to ramp up production so we can purchase for them. But to create jobs, that all-of-the-above approach to energy policy is so extremely important. Now, these are the kinds of common-sense conservative solutions that Americans support. And if the left doesn't have the good sense to listen to the American people, then we are bound and determined to find leaders who will. Because there is that growing movement. It is sweeping this country, and it's very exciting. It's very energizing. It's a movement, as I say, of the people, and this is a ground up, this swelling of our hearts and our passion for this country, the concern that we have for the country. We're making that manifest by our actions and getting involved in campaigns and saying, no, enough is enough, and we're going to take our country back, because this growing movement sweeping this country that you are a part of, this groundswell of Americans who don't like the big spending, cap and tax, big government, socialized medicine, personality as foreign policy, Obama, Pelosi, Reid agenda. We're saying, no, we don't like it, and we're not going to accept it anymore, and come November, we're taking our country back. We're going to win it back. I was thinking, what really is a fundamental problem here with what we're seeing going on, some of our elected officials in Washington? I wonder, do you think they read the same history books growing up that some of us read?
No.
I don't know if they did, because I don't know if they understand why our founders crafted limited and enumerated powers that the people would grant to our government, not the other way around, because they're not living that out. It's like they're trying to take from us, from the people, rights and freedoms and choices, and as government grows, they want to tell us what's best for us. They want to make the choices for us, and I don't know if they recognize that the Constitution didn't, even our dear Constitution, it didn't give us our rights. Our rights came from God, and they're inalienable rights. Our rights came from God, and the Constitution established a national government to protect our God-given unalienable rights, and we the people own it. We own this Constitution, and it is our government. So folks, it's our responsibility to hold our elected officials and the bureaucrats accountable. We the people, remember wanting to form this more perfect union? That's why the Constitution was crafted. We the people, to form a more perfect union, and we wanted to establish justice and ensure domestic tranquility and provide for the common defense and promote the general welfare, and that's why we formed the Union, and the preamble to the Constitution just said it so well, knowing that it is the people's, it's the people's constitution, it's the people's government, and it's our responsibility then to protect it and hold politicians accountable. And sometimes it just boggles my mind when I watch what's going on in Washington, thinking, I don't know if some of them get it because they're not living that out. In Missouri, it comes down to this. What unites all of us really is much stronger than what divides us. We're all Americans, and we all pretty much want the same things. As we want this country to embrace its exceptionalism again, and as we want our Constitution respected and adhered to, what we want, practically speaking, is a good paying job in our own hometown. And we want safety and security for our loved ones. And we want a government worthy of the people that it serves. And we want the opportunity to better ourselves and our country. Right now, some of those things, some days, just seem very far out of reach. But out here in the cities and towns of this great nation, we know, though we have some tough challenges to face, we have some big problems out there to solve, but we as Americans aren't afraid of a little hard work. We know how to roll up our sleeves and get down to business, and we know how to get back to the conservative principles that made this the greatest country on earth. Remember what it was that allowed America to rise, to be that shining city on a hill that all these other areas all over the globe would look to and wish to emulate because we so love our freedom. Remember what it was, and we need to get back to that. We know that this country, being the most prosperous, healthiest, safest, most voluntarily generous country on earth, we have to remember the time-tested truths that got us to where we are. And we then can be hopeful about America's future because we can know that our best days are yet to come. We believe that God shed his grace on thee, okay? We believe, so many of us, that this is a blessed land and we better not blow it. And we believe, as Lincoln did, that this nation is the last best hope on earth. And we still believe that America is exceptional. And we know that what makes her exceptional isn't her politicians, it's her people. And it is those time-tested truths and principles and values that we all hold so dear.